It wasn't for lack of effort that he lost. It was the game plan and the coaching. Hey, it's another edition of Coffee with the Goose. I am the Goose. So glad you joined me again. More interesting stuff to talk about today. But first, as you know, we have to have some coffee. I just got back from vacation and I need another vacation. I'm tired. That's why I need my coffee, right? Very strong, like my opinion, and got some creamer in there to make it sweet, just like me. Okay, what are we going to talk about today? Let's delve into that Pacquiao Yordenis Ugas fight a little more, shall we? Let's find out, let's explore why Pacquiao lost. He was supposed to win that fight, remember? He was the favorite. Yes, he was. And it's not that personally I'm surprised that he lost. Hey, that's that's the way the game goes. It's a game. It's sports. You never know how it's going to end. And Ugas is a great champion. And as you know, I mentioned this several times in the couple of shows we did before the fight. So now it's not really a surprise that Ugas won. But there were so many weird things that happened. Some that we know of, some that are, the conspiracy nutcases are out there, and we'll look into that as well. Just want to cover everything for you, okay? So what happened was, as you remember, Yordenis Ugas from Cuba fought Manny Pacquiao, the great Filipino champion, for the WBA Super Welterweight Championship of the World. Ugas won it rather easily, although he took some shots. So look at his face after the fight. Pacquiao landed a few on him, but it was a clear-cut victory for Ugas, a unanimous decision. So why did Pacquiao lose? Well, I've done a little research. I watched a show with Teddy Atlas, the longtime trainer. I have not a huge fan of Atlas, but he's backed up Pacquiao a few times, and in this case, he's at Pacquiao's back again. He said Pacquiao fought a good fight, and he did. He threw twice as many punches as Ugas did. It wasn't for lack of effort that he lost. It was the game plan and the coaching. According to Teddy Atlas, and I'm in agreement with him on this, Pacquiao's team was outcoached by Ugas's team. It's clear. Let me put it to you this way before we go any further. It reminds me of a great athlete in high school. Then he goes to college. Or a great college athlete goes into the pros. And what do they learn immediately? They learn that everybody's good at that level, just as good as they are. So what do they have to do to win? They have to push themselves a little more, work on their game, and shore up any weaknesses they have, and prepare for the opponent. Okay? And Manny Pacquiao is no different. As great as he is, maybe the greatest ever, it's the same scenario for him. He has to work on his game. He has to prepare for his opponent. He has to shore up his weaknesses. Did he do it for Ugas? Probably not. And one of the reasons is he didn't have time. He only had, 10 days before, after Errol Spence Jr. bowed out because of the eye injury. And then, Ugas took his place and off they went. So, again, after, the fight, I watched Teddy Atlas and listened to what he had to say, and he said that Freddie Roach was outcoached by the Ugas team led by Ismael Salas. And it wasn't just Freddie, because Freddie didn't do all the coaching. It was Boo Boy Fernandez, as much as I love Boo Boy, and he's, was gracious enough to do an interview with us before the Ugas fight. They were just outworked and outsmarted. And there are other reasons, okay? Did Pacquiao all of a sudden not have foot speed? No, he had it. He was just as quick as he's ever been. But he did not execute a game plan. He didn't have a game plan to execute. You saw it just as well as I did. Pacquiao was not the moving target, the elusive target that we know him to be. He just stood there and took his shots and was frustrated. And we saw it, I knew it by the third round that he wasn't going to win that fight. because he was frustrated and he couldn't figure out Ugas. And, Ugas with his, and it wasn't just the jab, because Pacquiao knows how to respond to he's great at countering a jab from a right-hander. But it was more than that. Ugas used his jab to keep Pacquiao away from him. He controlled the distance, and he was very effective with the right hand, and he was very, very good defensively. So Pacquiao really could not penetrate the defense and land those 800 plus shots that he threw. Yes, Jude, you have a point?
Well, what about the cramping?
Okay, we're going to get to that. We're going to, like I said, we're going to get to the conspiracy, and there's a lot of it. And some of it, you can't deny some of the conspiracy theories. We actually brought it to your attention. Now, before I go any further, I'm not here to rip Pacquiao or his team. I've praised them endlessly, as you guys know. Freddie Roach is a Hall of Fame trainer. We've interviewed him before. Boo Boy is, in my opinion, one of the best in the business. We've seen him. He's worked with Pacquiao since day one, but Pacquiao was not prepared. He with the game plan on how to fight Ugas specifically. Okay, not only could he not land his shots, but he didn't use his legendary and very effective fakes and feints. He's so good at getting his opponent on their heels physically and mentally. He wears his opponents down mentally. He didn't do that against Yordenis Ugas. And he didn't use the odd, unexpected angles that he usually uses. He just came straight on, and that's not going to win you a fight at any level. But it looks like we'll see a rematch. I'm confident we will. And it looks like it'll probably be in January from what everything I have heard. Now, one more thing. There was no plan B. If you're a great fighter with a great team and your plan is not working, you make adjustments as the fight goes on. They didn't make any adjustments. They just kept on doing what wasn't working. So there you go. Now, let's move on to the conspiracies. And there are several. One of them I brought to light, and if you don't mind me patting myself on my back, I was the only one, or the very first one, to raise serious questions as to Errol Spence Jr.'s injury. Hey, I don't know if he got injured or not, but the question I had was, why did he come up with an injury within an hour of Yordenis Ugas's opponent getting an eye injury on the same day? You see, look back at our pre-fight shows, and I go into that in great detail. Plus, let's face it, Spence, really, you get an eye injury in sparring with padding all over your head and pillows for gloves? No way. No, I just don't buy it. But again, I don't know. What I'm bringing to your attention is the questions that many people have. Okay. The other two other conspiracies that I've heard from YouTubers is it's PBC and Al Heyman and Mayweather, those bad guys. Who knows? Again, but they say that Ugas was made aware that he was going to be Pacquiao's opponent 6 weeks before the fight. Hence, your great preparation, being displayed by Ugas and his team. The other is the very, very serious accusation. And again, I don't have answers to this, but it's worth asking. Sue me for asking a question, okay? It drives me crazy when you ask a question and immediately somebody starts yelling at you and calling you names. I just asked a question. What's the harm, okay? Somebody else asked this question that I think the fourth round in the fight, there was some bad guy put in some cramping agent in Manny Pacquiao's water that he was drinking. And he did say in the fourth round, I believe it was Tagalog or Visaya to Boo Boy in between rounds, he said, my legs are cramping. And I've never heard of that in the middle of a fight so early in a fight with Pacquiao. Never heard that. And again, we didn't see Pacquiao with his usual foot movement that he's so, made him such a legend, part of his game plan. What else? The cramping agent, and oh, by the way, some of this information I want to give props to another website, philboxing.com, Phil boxing.com is where I got some of that information. So, who knows? I don't call me a conspiracy theorist, although there are many historical events, some of them pretty recent, by the way, that I have questions about. But again, you learn to keep your head down. You don't ask too many questions. You don't make too many accusations, because there's some very powerful, very bad people out there, and you don't need that, and I don't need that. So my job during this show is to ask questions, why, and I have answers, like I just gave. Why did Pacquiao lose in the first place? No game plan, really. No time to prepare. His team was badly outcoached by the opposition. And then you get into the conspiracy theories. And again, we're just asking questions. Don't call me names. Don't yell at me. I'm just asking questions, okay? I'll leave it up to you guys, that I know I'm going to get lots of comments responding to these, not just my opinion on why Ugas beat Pacquiao, but these serious questions, And as I said before, boxing's a nasty business. Not in the ring, it's nasty, but the politics of boxing, very dirty. And it's a lot like politics. We all know what's happening. Just don't ask too many questions. Protect yourself. Anyhow, that's it for this edition of Coffee with the Goose. Many thanks for you, you folks who watch, and you people who subscribe. Jude, my great producer, and I are so indebted and so appreciative of your support and sticking with us. We've got many more shows to come, okay? You guys take care.